Hi guys. I know it's early, but I'm gonna get started. Let me just pull up my script here. All right. Okay. Welcome to my first live podcast. This is all about cooking with Jake. I'm gonna teach you some great techniques, great skills to level up your cooking. It's gonna be amazing. This is my first episode. I'm super excited. I wrote a whole script for the first episode, which is seasoning your food properly. That is probably one of the most hardest things to do is season your food. And when someone hears seasoning your food, they're like, well, what is seasoning your food? Seasoning is enhancing the flavor by giving it a taste. Okay, so what I mean by that is I don't have the equipment right now to show you this example, but say you take a tomato, you take a slice of tomato, and you put no seasoning on it and you try it. Yes, it's good, but it's not next level. Now, if you put that piece of tomato, you put a little salt and pepper on it, then it tastes something nice. There's something good with it. And actually, I'm going to show you, not with the tomato, but I'm going to show you with a hash brown that I made. I'm going to show you the proper way to salt this thing. So, a lot of people think that putting it this close is seasoning. I want to show you what you do. You take your salt and you actually season from up high. When you season from up high, what it does is it spreads out the seasoning. So we're going to do this. We're going to also do some pepper. Up high too. That's how you season something properly. You season from up high. Okay? So I will enjoy that in a little bit. But I think what we got to talk about with seasoning is when do you season? Okay, when do you season? I'm going to bring my camera a little up here. When do you season? You season before you cook, during your cook, and after your cook. That way, you're enhancing your flavor of what you're making. My best example is eggs, scrambled eggs. You season your mixture before you put it in the pan. You season it during its cooking, and then you add a little finishing seasoning. All right? And, I've had trouble with seasoning in the past, and it always was troubling for me, especially when I made something good and then someone said, it was good, but there wasn't enough seasoning. I've worked on that in the past, and that's why I'm coming at with you to help all y'all with your skills, and because I have some experience. Even though I'm 23, I have experience. All right. So I'm kind of going off script, but we're going to do another thing where we're going to actually make a spice blend. And honestly, all great chefs have a spice blend. Okay? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm using the measuring cup. We're going to add some salt. Might take a few times. We're just going to make a little spice, but we're not going to make a whole spice blend. But this is something that you can follow. Okay? Some pepper. All right. So then I have some garlic powder. This will add some flavor and also some umami. If you don't know what umami is, it's like a flavor exploder, like soy sauce, garlic, onion, ginger. It's amazing. Umami's great. I got some Italian seasoning. And then we got some paprika. So We're only adding paprika to add a little kick to this thing. Okay? So, when you mix it up together, like I said, I'm making a small one. So, if you're making this for a big batch, then add a little more. But this is kind of what it would look like. I'm going to put it closer. And, you can go above and beyond with spice blends. You can create your own. But I'm going to throw out a little task for anyone that wants to be adventurous and try what I'm doing today. One of the things I want to see is I want to hear you create either this spice blend or a custom spice blend, and I want to see what we get, okay? So we're actually going to dump this out. I just wanted it as an example. And then let's talk about another flavor impactor called vinaigrette. Now, vinaigrette is kind of this. You can make it an emulsion. It's anything. Salad vinaigrettes are the best, and some people rely on the store-bought salad dressings. They're great and all, but making a homemade vinaigrette is, especially the one as simple as the one I'm making today, is definitely more impactful. And it also gives you a little boost of confidence too. Maybe like you weren't so confident, now you're like, yeah, I can do this. So, vinaigrette time. I'm honestly going to be as simple as I can with this. A little bit of oil. Now, this is not a advanced thing. Okay? But just to work with. So, lemon juice. Someone's texting me. Probably someone watching my podcast. We're going to add a little more lemon juice. We're going to save that, though. All right, some salt. Always season a vinaigrette. That's one thing. Like when you're making homemade vinaigrette, people don't season their vinaigrette. You got to season it because that'll make you a better chef. All right, now it's going to be a little acidic, but that's kind of what you want in a vinaigrette. Oh, wait. Yeah, let me show you. You got to make this vinaigrette good. So this is another thing I want y'all to do. I want to see maybe this vinaigrette sample or a custom one you make. We're going to actually try it. Always try your food. I know that's not the lesson for today, but always try your food because you'll know what it needs. Delicious. Maybe a little bit of more pepper. Now, I know that people, when I did bring out a cooking podcast, people wanted it to be a long podcast. Well, some of them are going to be long. I just wanted to get on here and do some quick tasks about seasoning. But I am going to sit down once I'm all adjusted and talk more about seasoning. So that'll be good. So let's just... delicious. Okay. So, now that we are all done with the tasks, I'm going to sit down and we're going to discuss some seasoning. So I have some discussion, some topics. So if I can... all right, so there's 5 tastes you need to know, okay? And they are sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami. I did talk about umami earlier, about the soy sauce, ginger, and all that. Um, you don't have to use all these tastes in one dish. It would be nice if you could. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Not a big deal. Um, but those 5 tastes, you gotta at least try at least 2 of them in in one dish, because when you taste 2, then you can add 1 more your next time. And as much as I want to say seasoning is quite a simple task, it's not. As I told you, I had trouble with it in the past. Um, I definitely think that when it comes to food, you know, when it comes to food, there's standards, and one of them is proper seasoning. Um, Seasoning is a necessity. It's you need to have seasoning in your food. If you don't have seasoning in your food, it's going to taste like cardboard, and you don't want that. You really don't. And honestly, like, just like, all right, for this example, if you're making a soup, soup needs seasoning. And if you finish the soup, you taste it, and you're like, it's not seasoned, you can definitely add more seasoning. It'll blend in. When you're making a steak, I'm a big steak guy. Um, Seasoning that steak properly is key to a good steak. Seasoning and sear with a steak is the 2 things you need to look for. Um, and like, honestly, because I'm Italian, sometimes with tomato sauce, I know old school people use sugar. I don't, but that's another flavor booster. That's a sweet component, and that's one of our tastes. So those are kind of all you need to know about the 5 tastes. As I said, sweet, salty, sour, bitter, umami. Okay, so we will move on. Um, so some examples of seasonings and what they bring is next we're going to talk about. Salt. Salt boosts flavor. I know it's a simple seasoning, but it boosts flavor by a lot. Pepper, it adds a little heat. Pepper is not that spicy, but it does add some heat and bite to it to make it taste good, as well as salt. Both garlic and onion powder add these like savory, powdery notes, and you kind of want that like smell in your food because that just tastes amazing. That smells and tastes amazing. Paprika, I think I used it today. Paprika adds heat and smokiness, more like smokiness. I love smokiness, especially with meat. Smoky meats are great. Dried herbs, they give this aroma in the kitchen that smells phenomenal. And especially not dried herbs. Dried herbs are good too, but if you have fresh herbs, makes your dish that much better. And I honestly think that when we get more into these podcasts and I start doing more, you're going to see a lot of things that you never thought. And I'm going to keynote on seasoning too. I'm going to continue with the seasoning. I'm going to keep reminding you about seasoning as the episodes go on, just so you know that is key importance. Okay. Let me see what else. Acid and fat are important. I know they don't really, fat doesn't have much to do with seasoning, but even oil is a fat. Gives flavor. Also gives a boost of seasoning. A lot of people don't know that. Butter and cream, they're also fat. They give a lot of flavor. They give a lot of silkiness and cream to a dish. So, you know, I like to put a fun example out there too with seasoning. If you're making fresh popcorn, you can dance around and play around with different flavors and seasonings. Sometimes garlic salt is all you need, but you can be adventurous with it. You can add like soy sauce to popcorn and it tastes good. I mean, I've had it before. But even mashed potatoes, they need cream, they need seasoning. They might need some umami if you're doing kind of an international theme. That's awesome. Even the spice blend I showed you, you can use that for so many dishes. You can use that for potatoes. You can use that for popcorn. You can even use it for something as simple as scrambled eggs, and it'll taste phenomenal. Now, we're going to talk about some common mistakes and some tips that I recommend. Now, everything I'm telling you, I wrote down today. I wrote down last night. So I might be a little rushing through this, but don't worry. I'm trying to explain this as simple as I can. First one, taste as you go. I did tell you to taste your food earlier as you're cooking. That's definitely important because if you don't taste your food by the finished product, if you taste it, even if you're presenting it in front of anyone, if it's not seasoned, they're not going to like it. They might like it. They might like it, but it's not like a definite thing that they're going to go to. If it's not seasoned, they're not going to remember you. You got to do something that remembers you. Season in layers. Told you season before, during, and after your cook. That'll help you big time. Don't be afraid in savory dishes to add a little acid and sugar because maybe it needs it, and that's also a good flavor boost. So don't be afraid to do that. And you can always add more seasoning, but the thing is you can't take it out. So go easy your first seasoning job. Taste it, and then if it needs more seasoning, you add a little more seasoning. That's all I recommend for that. Now, for the final tips, the more you taste and acknowledge your seasoning, the better you're going to be as a cook. And I honestly think it's one of seasoning, as I keep saying, is one of the most important skills to learn as a chef. And you'll learn how to balance flavors. It's that technical, but it's going to help you in the long run. Seasoning takes practice, I had trouble with it, but I practiced it. I kept practicing it. That's why I'm in the kitchen a lot. Because I practiced these certain skills that I'm going to show you in future podcasts and this one. So just practice. It just takes practice. It's not magic. And also use your sense of smell. I mentioned the sense of taste is important, but your sense of smell is important because you can smell seasoning. And if you can't smell seasoning, that means you didn't season it enough. But if you can't smell it, make sure you taste it just to make sure you're not off. Because if you don't smell seasoning and you season without tasting it, you could over season, and that's not what you want to do. So I guess this is the wrap up. This was kind of a short live stream, but live podcast. But that's kind of it for seasoning and for today's episode. But I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you liked what you saw. I'm getting used to the camera, so it might be a little troublesome the first time. But I'm going to lay out a challenge every podcast. And this week, since it was seasoning, I want you to either copy the seasoning spice blend I did, or create your own and make a seasoned snack. With what you have in the kitchen. It could be roasted vegetables, popcorn, scrambled eggs, mashed potatoes, whatever you want to do. For people that have my contact information and can text me or send me, you can do that. My YouTube channel, in the comments, you can send me pictures or texts, whatever you did, so I can see them. I'd love to see what you come up with, because if I see it, I'll be that much happier. But the last thing I want to say is seasoning isn't about showing off. It's about bringing your food to life. And I want you to remember that. But as for now, that's it for me for this podcast. And I hope you liked what you saw. Next episode will be even bigger and better. I don't know what the topic's going to be. I'll let people know when I figure it out. But that's it for me. And keep cooking, guys. I'll see you later.